Good evening, traders. Zach here from the Trading Network. Hope you guys are doing well. It is Thursday, June 10th, and I've got another daily market profile recap for you guys for both the ES and the NQ futures markets. So let us dive right into the profile, and we will discuss a bit more of an exciting day that we had. We have done something that we have been anticipating and discussing for quite some time, which is moving and holding above the prior highs or above the prior all-time highs on ES, that is, and on NQ, above prior highs that we have not visited in months. So let us start off with the key levels on ES first and foremost, beginning with our overnight high. That was 42.33. Next key level I was looking at was just a handful of points below that at 42.2950. That was indeed our POC from yesterday, and a naked POC at that until it was tapped today. Next lower level was the prior value area low at the 42.2550 area. Next level below that was the overnight point of control. You can see that right here, 42.21, right there. And that was right below the overnight low from the June 8th into June 9th Globex session. And last but not least on ES, I was looking at that prior range low at 42.17. Now, shifting on over into the NASDAQ futures, we will get into the key levels there, starting with the prior range high, 13.904. Moving right on into another level from yesterday's regular trading hour session, the prior value area high. And as you guys can see, or will see here, just like most of my other videos, my key levels are levels from either the overnight profile or the most recent regular trading hours profile. The only time that it really changes is if we open way above or way below these previous areas and we have to look further back and we can't take key levels from these most recent profiles. So moving into that third area of interest, I was looking at the prior POC at 13.856, down into that prior value area low at 13.828, and last but not least, the overnight point of control at 13.788. So moving into the pre-market analysis and starting with NQ, you can see that the overnight inventory was short on NQ and more balanced on ES, we will get to shortly. But as you can see here, settlement price on NQ was 13.814. Here's the overnight profile, and a majority of the price action was done below that, which means that the overnight inventory is short. When the overnight inventory is short, the higher probability play is for New York to fade the overnight or to do the opposite of what the overnight price action does. So if we move over to ES, you can see that you could consider it, long, but it was really more balanced. It was closer to being in the middle of the profile. So it was even less, or there was even less directional conviction on ES. Now, at the time of writing, we were looking to open inside yesterday's range and value on both ES and NQ, which means within yesterday's range and within the value area as well. You can see on ES, scrolling and zooming in here a little bit, if we look at O period, we did indeed open right at the top of value, so inside range and value from yesterday. And moving over to NQ, if we zoom in here and find our O period, you can see very, very similar. We actually opened closer to the value area low on NQ. So this meant that there has not been much of a change in sentiment at all since the previous regular trading hour session, and there was not significant directional conviction present currently before the market opened. Now, that obviously changed very quickly, as we can see here in the profile. So let's get into the rest of the analysis. Since we are opening inside range and value, this means that we actually were more likely to see ranging price action once again until we have a major level break and hold. With this profile structure, we can also take a measurement of yesterday's profile to give us an estimation of the size of today's range. And with that said, if you guys watch my video from Tuesday and my video from Wednesday, you will see that I actually took a measured move from Tuesday's profile and I superimposed it over this area, okay? And although we did not get the move yesterday, I discussed in my video that we were likely to get the move in a future session. We got the move, we got the measured move played out within less than 10 points. So it's really incredible to see this measured move. Okay, so just to make this very clear, I'm taking the measurement from Tuesday's profile. I am superimposing it on an extreme level, right? So we used today the previous range low as our low. So typically we want to take the previous profile, right? So we would take yesterday's, but since yesterday was so small, I took Tuesday's. I said, okay, well, if NQ really does its thing here, what it is usually doing, moving, being very volatile, seeing those expansions, then we are likely to get a much larger profile or an extension above 100 points, which is exactly what we did. And almost to the tick, we got that measured move. So I want you guys to play around with this and let me know what you think in the comments about being able to take measured moves from the previous profiles and using them to give you a very, very accurate indication of where we might move if we do get that breakout. So with all that said, today I was looking at the overnight high as a line in the sand level on ES and the prior value area low at 13,828 actually as the line in the sand level on NQ. So we could not move and hold below 13,828. We got single print buying tail, the opposite of what we've been seeing the previous sessions. So you can see that single print selling tail, single print selling tail. Now we have a single print buying tail showing that the larger time frame players are interested in purchasing. They think that this is a fair price or even a cheap price, and they were right. So if we moved and held above 13,828, and on ES, if we moved and held above the overnight highs and the prior highs, you know, within 2 points of each other right here, then I was looking for that upside continuation and that change in behavior. We finally got the break and hold of the highs. You can see our profile. We have a nice bell curve mainly above the highs, which is a very good sign for that upside continuation. You can see our current overnight profile is using prior highs as support. Very, very good signs for upside. So if we do break 34, I'd look for a move back down into range. But as long as we're holding these levels as support, it is blue sky breakout territory, in my opinion. So just to reiterate here, today I was looking at the overnight high on ES and the prior value area low on NQ. Move and hold above, I was looking for that upside conviction. If we couldn't, I was looking for that ranging price action until we had some conviction develop. All right, so scrolling down into the trade plan, just reiterating what I mentioned here, line in the sand levels, move and hold above, directional conviction, or just waiting for a break and hold above or below for that directional conviction to develop, which we did indeed get to the upside. So moving into our line in the sand levels and targets. The line in the sand level was the 42.31, 42.32 area, and I was looking for a move to the upside. First and foremost on ES to the prior range high of 42.35. The next level I was looking at was 42.75, and as you guys know, we were in breakout territory, so I will go over to my regular chart. All right, so here's my regular chart. Just wanted to show you guys what I was looking at and where I got the 42.42 initial target here. The only upside target, because after that we were just following the trend in blue sky breakout territory. So 42.42 was the R3. That is resistance 3 of the Fibonacci pivot indicator. That is a built-in indicator on NinjaTrader. Would definitely recommend you guys check that out. You can see that we did actually pull back. Market got bought up, and we started to move back through these profile levels. So you can see how nicely we got a reaction of settlement. You can see that the settlement price right here also lined up with Fibonacci pivot S1 and prior range low, and the London opening range. So this is part of our opening range tune indicator, which is of course part of the Trading Network proprietary indicator package, and the London opening range along with the New York opening range, as you guys can see right here. Let me highlight that. This provides very, very nice opportunity. Zooming in here, you can see that this box right here is the New York opening range, and we have confluence between Fibonacci pivot R1. We've got prior POC right below, VWAP right below. We've got the 200 exponential, 377 exponential, and New York opening range low all lining up. Excellent confluence, beautiful structure on our oscillators, divergence even. So a lot of good things lining up there, and this is how we trade our profile levels, even if structure messes around a little bit and price has to breathe. So moving back into the line in the sand on the targets here, first and only upside target was indeed hit. Well, first and second upside target you can say is hit. So 42.35, second upside target, again, Fibonacci pivot R3. And then it was essentially following the trend if we moved and held above, which we did, but it took a little bit of time to hold that directional conviction. So we got that move in the initial balance. You can see the green part of the profile here. This is the first hour of the session. So we opened up, tested down. We moved up in B and D period, which is basically first hour. B is first 30 minutes. D is the second 30 minutes of the session. And we never retested those highs after we made them. So you had to be quick with it if you wanted to take profit. You had to realize, again, going back to our candlestick chart, you had to realize that the trend was ending here. So you can see price hitting the op zone very beautifully. Boom, op zone, boom, op zone, boom, op zone. Not really an op zone, right at the top. Then the op zone got flimsy. Price started to make bearish divergence here. Right here, this is divergent, this entire thing. This is also divergent, this small little area right here. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. And behavior changed. So keep that in mind and use your other tools in combination with the market profile to give you the most edge. So first two upside targets were hit. If you were able to take the break of that high and hold, maybe you got a little bit more juice other than or aside from that 42.42 level, but still, you know, some good opportunity over 10 points on ES. You can make a nice living off that. So with that said, on the downside, moving into our first downside target, 42.29. First downside target did actually not get hit until after the first hour of the session or the initial balance was developed, but we moved swiftly into that naked POC from yesterday and closed it, moving down into that next downside target at 42.25, which was indeed yesterday's value area low right here. The third downside target that I was looking at was 42.21. You can see this level, that was the overnight low or the Globex low from June 8th into June 9th. And that was indeed the final downside target that got hit. The second to last downside target we got within a point, 5 ticks of, point and a quarter, and that was 42.17. So if you were playing the break of 42.21, you had a nice target here. Just watch for candlestick structure, see that, you know, we're putting in a low, see that the oscillators are turning over, and take your profit a little bit early. So all in all, good opportunity, a wider range than we had yesterday. And really nice break of the highs, but we couldn't hold the highs for the remainder of the session. So it'll be interesting to see if we can indeed hold it now that we are above those highs again in Globex, and we'll see how things develop. So all in all, we had, call it two upside targets hit on ES, 2 out of 2, because we didn't really have any other targets other than the blue sky breakout and the measured move from the profile. So just so you guys can see, can do the same thing on ES here. So you take this measurement of 29.25 points, you superimpose it over the lows, 42.17, 42.18, and that gives us possibly that third upside target. But I wanted to really tell you guys to watch the trend, follow the trend, and don't get attached to something like that. You know, it's really important to watch how price is moving, to interpret the market information the way that it is presenting itself so that we can really make the best decisions for our trading. Alrighty, so moving into the targets on NQ here, you can see once again, as mentioned earlier, line in the sand was 13,828, yesterday's value area low. We just barely peaked below that and tapped our first and only downside target, which was the regular trading hours high from the June 7th New York session. So we will get into the upside targets again, starting with that 13,851 level. 13,851 was the overnight high. You can see that right here. The second upside target was 20 points above that at 13,871. That was the prior value area high from yesterday, which gave us a really nice opportunity off the open. All right, so I want to show you guys real quick how nice of a setup this was off the open. Again, just to reiterate, when the overnight inventory is short, higher probability is for New York to fade that, in this case to the upside. So we were chopping around, had a nice rip up, pulled back into the opportunity zone. Really nice oscillator structure. Beautiful divergence as well on the delta down here. So you can see here, price moving down, delta moving up. So some nice divergence. We actually didn't have divergence on any of our momentum oscillators. So this was essentially a pure price action play. Or you could have waited to take the next opportunity zone play, which had beautiful oscillator confluence. You can see there was no supply. Demand was very, very much in control. And we had several opportunity zone plays off of the open before price reversed on the NASDAQ futures as well. So take this into account and use this to your advantage. Now, getting back into our upside targets, next upside target was 13,904. That was our prior range high. That was hit as well in the initial balance. And you can see that our opening 1 hour range was essentially our entire range of the day, about 160 points or so. Well, call it 150, something like that. So from 13,963 to 13,811, that was our entire opening range. And we did indeed move into our final upside target at 13,917. That was the prior range high. And once again, as I mentioned on ES, we could have used that measured move as a target, but I think it's very important for traders, especially traders in development, to watch price action and watch the development in price action instead of being so attached to targets. So that's why on breakout days, I will have less targets, because I want to challenge you guys, and I want to make it apparent how important it is to not just have a plan set in stone. You have to have if-then scenarios, and you have to have flexibility in your trading. So that's why I leave my trade plan as it is when we are at blue sky breakout areas. And yeah, I think it's important to practice trading this type of price action, because it's not easy. And if you can interpret that market information correctly, you can say, okay, well, structure is changing when we move and hold above the highs. That's going to give you edge in itself. It doesn't really matter where you're targeting if you're interpreting properly. So with that said, we had 4 out of 4 upside targets hit on NQ. We had 1 out of 5 targets on the downside hit on NQ as well. Moving over to ES, scrolling up a little bit, you can see that we did have 2 out of 2, or call it 3 out of 3 if you were considering that measured move that I did indeed post in our private community. And on the downside, we had a nice move into 42.29, 42.25, 42.21, and right above our second to last target, which was the prior range low at 42.17. So all in all, some good opportunity, a little bit more volatility picking up, some structure changing, or hopefully structure changing if we do indeed hold above these highs. But nonetheless, even if structure goes back into the range and we continue to chop around, there will still be opportunity, especially paying attention to the profile structure and these profile levels. So as always, I hope you guys are taking some good information and gaining assistance and gaining edge from this information that I'm talking about in these videos. I want to thank you guys immensely for taking the time to watch this content. If you do enjoy what you see, please feel free to like and subscribe down below and leave a comment and let me know what you think. Again, as always, it really does make a difference and I immensely appreciate it. If you guys want to learn more about what we do here at the Trading Network, feel free to check out those links in the description below, where you can first and foremost find our trade plans for free in our Facebook group that I release every day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Again, you can join our Facebook group. You can find that link down below. You can also find a link to the tradingnetwork.io, which is our website, where you can learn more about one-on-one mentorship with me. These are customized mentorship programs where I meet with traders once a day for an hour a day on Zoom. I go over trades, I help you develop a trade plan, help you learn my indicators, my strategies, trading psychology techniques, things like that. Anything that I can do to help to get you to become a consistently profitable trader, that is what we do in our mentorship sessions. In addition to mentorship, you can also learn more about purchasing the Trading Network proprietary indicator package, which you saw quite a bit of in this video today. You can also learn more about joining our private Discord group, where you can watch me trade live every day, Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And last but not least, you can also purchase access to the Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, which is our comprehensive trading course that discusses multiple strategies for varying market conditions. I give you guys a trending strategy and I give you guys a ranging strategy, and not just a trending and a ranging strategy. I give you guys the strategies that I use on a daily basis every day in our live streams, so you can watch the course and then you can watch me use those strategies on a daily basis live. It is a tremendous environment to really harness growth and consistent profitability as a trader. We also offer bundles where you can get the FFT course, the indicator package, and lifetime Discord access all together, even on a payment plan to make it easier on the wallet as well. So if you guys have any questions about any of those products, if you guys have any questions about any of the analysis that I've discussed in this video, please do not hesitate to hit me up anytime on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, email, any way you can get a hold of me. I'm here to help any way that I can. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you guys again. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.